play and call it work.
Hey everybody, Matthew Dave here from MiniWarGaming.com, and welcome to week 6. Week 6 of our This Is Not a Test narrative campaign / RPG campaign / awesome fun. And by this point, hopefully you're invested in the story. If this is your first one, then go back to week 1. I'd recommend starting the story at the beginning. But we've been having a lot of fun with it. Huge shout out to Joey from World's End Publishing for making the game. Big thanks to TT Combat, Greenleaf Terrain, and Tenocity's Workshop, and many others for their contributions here. And don't forget, the coupon code is still good, MWGTNT2017. Now that we're nearing the end, I want to take just a minute or two to discuss the future of this kind of stuff. I'm planning on there only being one more episode after this. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to force an ending, but at the same time, we are kind of drawing to a close. And just because we do have to budget and schedule our time, so it's not like a normal RPG group where you're like, well, you know what, we'll just keep going on forever. And so since we're nearing the end of this, we kind of need to get some ideas from you as to the future of this type of stuff, because I'm not sure if you know this, but we're not really making any money from making this particular campaign. I'm just going to come out and say it. We'll make a little bit of YouTube revenue. It'll probably cover next to nothing.
Internet?
The internet?
Maybe.
The
No.
The part of the internet bill that we're running, you know what?
Not even all of it.
Let me see if I can calculate. No, yeah, it'll cover.
Yeah.
It won't even cover an hour of our time, basically.
So
for the entire campaign.
maybe lunch. Covers lunch for a day.
It covers a pretty expensive lunch. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
And I never intended to try to make money from this one in particular. I kind of just wanted to do it for fun. A bit of a fan service, but also because there's a couple of things that we're getting into. We're getting into more trying to approach companies to advertise with us and we play their game. Not that we did with this one, we just decided to do this one for fun. So I wanted to see the results of how World's End Publishing is affected by this. And thankfully they have actually seen a lot of growth in their sales. They've actually seen them double since we've done this. And so that's awesome. So thank you so much for that. But in the end, we also need to benefit from it as well, not because we're greedy, but because it's a business and we need to make money in order to be able to continue doing stuff like this. We can't just keep doing free stuff. And so what are your ideas? What do you think you should do for the future? Obviously, if we get a company to pay us to do their game, no problem, there's our money. But there's other games that we might play that maybe the companies won't, or they're small, they're really, really, really small and don't have that money to do it. So any ideas? Or even if you want to see another season of This Is Not a Test, should we do a Kickstarter campaign for it? Should we put it in the vault? Give us your ideas. We'd love to hear them, but let's just put it this way. We can't just make these for free all the time. So this has been an experiment to see how much you would like us doing it, and the response has been awesome. We've gotten a decent amount of views on these videos. The comments have been very, very positive, and you've really enjoyed this. And we've enjoyed making it too. It's been a nice break from the usual pace that we have of making other stuff as well. So that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to take any more time, because you're here to watch us play, not to watch me babble on about the future of our narrative.
Babylon?
My Babylon, yes. Watch me Babylon 5 about the future
Oh,
I know. No, it's dad joke, man, dad joke. Okay, so we are in week number 6. What happened just at the end of last episode is you went down to the cave underneath the Church of the Saints as, what's-his-face, Dante, the sheriff of Devil's Crotch, had put that distraction in place so that you were able to sneak in, and you successfully snuck in, and you took out the guards that were there and took out the big mutant guy, and even incapacitated the doctor. Yeah.
Okay, yes, I remember now.
Yes.
Put him in the car?
Yeah, he was put in the car.
Trying to push him?
He was trying to make an escape, but you stopped that by hitting him with a missile. And that finished the mutant. He's not coming back from that.
Good.
And so we're at the end of that. So you guys are recovering. We had some injuries. Richard BR got banged up from jumping through napalm, heavy flamethrower into the big guy. Almost took him out.
Almost.
If Kenny didn't run off, then maybe it would have actually worked. So Kenny still has a bit of work to do on loyalty, but he'll grow attached. He just started, right? It's not like with Roy, who had for years.
Squirrel.
He heard a squirrel. Just frenzied away. But so he got banged up. Willis already had his hand injury. Anybody else get banged up? Yeah, Madeline got banged up because she got Can't remember what she got hit by, but she got banged up. And Kenny, the dog, got a gaping wound, which is -1 defense. It's permanent.
Oh yeah.
We already did it. It's
Yeah.
already on your sheet. So, you escaped without any casualties, even though Beverly's power armor got one-shotted by a pistol. He shot that one kink. Saying, armor is weakest underneath in the armpits and between the shoulder pads.
One strap you didn't do. We don't need to do it.
We don't need to do that one. It's also bam. That's exactly where it went. And he goes down. But other than that, he didn't even roll an injury. Like there wasn't anything bad that happened to him, right?
Well, no, it's because he was healed in game. That's why.
That's right. So finally, we saw Betty actually heal somebody.
Yep.
That's great. Okay, so you're recovering. Everybody's running to the front. What are you gonna do? Well, let me paint the scene a little bit more just so you can remember. As you come to the area where Richard kind of jumped in there, you notice a few interesting things. One is that there's a few vehicles here, like intact vehicles, and like they look like they've been maintained and kept together. Like they're not like pre-war pristine, but they've been cobbled back together again, but they're still intact and functioning. And one of them is even running right now, just kind of spewing out exhaust, the one that the big guy had shoved the doctor into. Another thing you notice once you get there is that there's actually a tunnel. It's dark right now, but there's a tunnel that leads out of this caves. So that gives you a clue as to maybe how all those slaves are brought in and then never seen coming out, because there's a cave. And behind you, as you're looking down that tunnel, there's a few of these weird kind of stasis pod looking things that you actually saw in the game. And they're kind of frosted, so it's hard to see into them just by quickly glancing at them. So that's kind of what's around you right now. So what would you like to do?
Charles is going to walk up to one of the stasis pods.
Okay.
Let's see what we've got here.
What would you like to do?
I'd like to closely observe it and make an intelligence roll.
Okay, go ahead. For what's your
12?
It's 12 with his bonus?
Yes.
Okay, so that's good enough. So he does notice that there's some sort of medical stasis chamber from pre-war. So there's some pre-war tech that were used to preserve somebody while they worked on whatever they needed to work on for that person. And he thinks he can open them too. He thinks he can disengage. And in fact, when he's looking closer and he's kind of like wiping away some of the frost or the humidity that's gathered on it, he can see that there is actually people inside of them.
Yeah, he tries to get them out.
So he wants to try to open one of them? Okay, go ahead and make another intelligence test. It's a really simple one, just don't fumble. You critted. Wow. He's like, I think it's this. And he opens it with ease. And because he critted, he can open all the rest of them with ease as well, because he's like, oh, it's just this.
He didn't accidentally kill one of them.
Yeah, he didn't like fumble and destroy it and then have to figure out the next one.
He chopped her leg off.
And so he opens it, and inside of the one is one of the people from your settlement. You
Inside of the one of the four.
There's 4 of them there, if I remember correctly. We'll say there's 4. It's arbitrary.
4 that he opened.
Yeah, so this first one he opens, he recognizes one of the people from the settlement. And this one is, it seems to be in some sort of induced coma. And also, when you look at closer observation, without even like closely observing, you notice that there's some weird growths on them, like some almost like mutations that are on them. And so you start to open the other ones. The next one you open, you don't recognize the person inside. Same thing with the third. But the last one you open, you do recognize the person inside. It's Galen, your old settlement leader. He's inside of it, and he's got all sorts of weird growths on him, and his one arm is like kind of enlarged and become bigger than his other arm, and he's also in an induced coma right now. Doesn't look too good.
Betty comes up, and she goes up to Galen, right? Mm-hmm. And she says, well, what have we got here? Let me see. I want to try to revive him, get some information out of him. Isn't that what we want, Richard? I think this is what the doctor wants. Okay, she's going to try to revive him.
All right, do a medic check, which is just an intelligence check. You are clever, so.
10 exactly?
No, 9. Because your medal is 5, you rolled a 2, so that's 7, and then clever gives you +2.
Okay.
So you're able to make the roll because you're a medic, but you don't get any bonuses from just being a medic. You just get to make the medic check. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you failed on Galen. Mm-hmm. So what happens? Now you failed very slightly, thankfully. You didn't roll a fumble. So as you use up one of your med kits, So you can do that because you're basically using some stim packs from it to try to waken him up. You don't do a very good job of it, but he does wake up. But because you failed it, he is going to die. So you've revived him, and he doesn't look like he's very good. He starts to cough, and fluid kind of spits out of his mouth as if something was in there just to hold it there. And he's like, ugh, and you can see the color start to return to his face. But at the same time as she's examining him, she can feel his heart's racing, like his heart picks up really fast, and he doesn't have much time. And he's just kind of sitting there coughing. So.
Richard comes over. Explain yourself.
And so he leans over the side of the stasis and he just vomits all over the ground.
Okay, Betty tries again to revive him even better.
No. Basically, because she failed, what I'm going to tell you is you have probably about 30 seconds of time with him. So it's enough for 1, maybe 2 specific questions. And then he will die. If you had passed it, I'd let you interrogate him all day long.
Okay.
But you failed it, so I will let you to ask. You know what? Let's say 2. If you're vague, I'll give vague answers. If you're specific, I'll give specific answers. So you got 2 questions you can ask, and I will answer them as Galen. So what were those 2 questions? What's the first question of the 2 you'd like to ask? He kind of looks up and he realizes who's surrounding him, and you can see this look of guilt on his face as he's looking around. But he also looks very, very sick, and he just continues slightly vomit over the side.
Why did you sell out our people?
And so he's just leaning over, and he just starts to cry, just sobbing. You don't know if it's partly because he's sick or partly because he feels guilty. He's just sobbing his guts out. And he's like, it was just too hard. I worked for years to build that settlement. Years. And constantly there were struggles, and I thought we could make a better life. And then when I went out, we got attacked by slavers. And they took everybody. They killed anybody who resisted, and they were going to kill me too because I wanted to resist. And once they incapacitated me, and they when they were about to bring me back, I just all of a sudden just felt something inside of me snap, and I couldn't go on any longer. And that's when I made a deal with the devil and told the man that was there that in exchange for my life, I would give him other people. I would give him access to even more. But it just kind of got out of hand, and all of a sudden it wasn't enough just to give him a few more. He wanted everybody. But he was going to kill me if I didn't do it, and I was a coward. That's your first question. And he's obviously very upset about it.
Tell us how we can save them.
I think all I know is that they betrayed me. After I got my people out and I brought them all the way here, he revealed something that he was going to be doing with them, and I don't even know what it is, but he did it to me too. He started injecting me with some weird green glowing goop and experimenting on us until we all got driven out of the factory by all those critters, and then we had to retreat here, and that's when he lost contact with us because the slavers that were running this organization actually worked against him. And so he wasn't able to actually come in here, but they had some other person, some woman, and what looks like some pre-war tech outfit, and she continued the operation without him. All I know is that they took our people down that tunnel, but I don't know where or what they're doing to them. And with that, he just vomits some more. He kind of leans back, and he's not even able to talk anymore. And within just another minute, he's dead. And thus ends Galen.
Wow.
Pretty intense, eh?
That was not insightful. Okay, nothing. Go down the tunnel. I was going to do that anyway. Okay. Betty goes up to the woman. Did you not say there was a woman? The first one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's not here.
What are you talking about?
Oh, the woman. Oh, you're talking about in the first pod.
The first pod.
Because Galen made reference to a woman that's running the operation.
I could see how you thought that.
And I thought that you meant she goes to the woman. I'm like, she doesn't know where she is, but you could try.
Okay, the first pod.
So go to the first pod.
Okay, try to revive her.
Okay. You recognize her. We'll have to make up a character here because I didn't prepare one. We'll say she's just one of the random settlers.
Okay, she's from the settlement.
She's from your settlement.
Okay.
Yeah. The other two you don't recognize.
The That was not my roll.
That's not your roll. Go ahead and make an intelligence check. This one looks much more expired than Galen. Like she's been had a lot more test done on her, so it's going to be a harder check. So you're going to need a 12 instead of a 10. So 7. Hey, without even your clever, you got your 14. Or you got your 12, so you got up to 14. Okay, so you revive her, and the same thing happens. She's like all this spewing out this weird gelatinous liquid kind of stuff out of her mouth. And then she's also just vomiting it as well. But she looks pretty poor as well. But she starts to gain consciousness, and she starts to just freak out until she recognizes you guys.
Settle down there.
But she seems a little delirious. So she recognizes you, but she's still like in shock. And she's kind of shaking a lot.
Is there
kind of a lot, you know, how you can you kind of shake a lot. She's shaking a lot.
Okay, Charles goes up with his Geiger counter.
Yeah, you don't even have to roll.
Okay, so is that obvious that they're heavily
radiated? Irradiated, yeah. Whatever it is they're working with definitely does give off some sort of radiation. Like it's not like so much radiation that like he has to come closer to them with the Geiger counter to detect it. Like as he runs it over them. It's not like when he's standing 5 feet away from them, the Geiger counter's really going off. So it's not like they're pulsing radiation from them. But as he runs it over their body, there is definitely detectable amounts of radiation in their bodies. So or maybe it's coming from the stasis pod. It's hard to tell completely because they're in there.
So if she were to give her Fisher's Globigon, knowing from experience, how long does it take for the radiation to dissipate?
Well, Fisher's Globigon works better pre-cancer time for the radiation. Like you get a dose of radiation, you take the Fisher's Globigon, and that helps flush it out of your system. But like if you were to give Fisher's Globigon to a rad zombie, you could give them all the Fisher's Globigon in the world.
So it's not going to help.
It won't reverse them being a zombie anymore because their brain's already rotted away and their cells have already deteriorated. You would help flush out any current radiation, but a lot of the rad zombies don't currently actually exude radiation.
Is she a zombie?
No, she's definitely not. There's different types of creatures in the waste, though. There's mutants who have been radiated. So all you can tell from Betty looking at her and reviving her and just doing a check is that the growths look like the kind of things you'd see on mutants. Except those mutants, that happens over generations. Like somebody's born and they've got some deformities, and then they have kids and they have deformities, or then they become sterile and don't have any more kids, and some other people have mutants. And so it does look like that kind of yellowish skin that comes from becoming a mutant because of science. That's what happens with radiation.
Because of science.
Because science.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Post-apocalyptic future science.
Okay. So Richard goes up to her. What happened?
She tells the tale of...
The same thing?
Same thing. Like you guys left to go take care of the rats. And then within like half an hour of you being gone, they were attacked by slavers.
There was a man that Galen made a deal with. Who is this man?
I don't know his name.
What does he look like?
Actually, I do have a description of him. Let's get this right. Okay. It's like all he knows is that he was a tall man and he had facial hair. It was dark, and he wore a long brown coat and a kind of tattered outfit. He had 2 people with him who were also just in tattered outfits, but their rifles, which looked like regular rifles, were spewing out green lightning as they would fire. And they easily took out anybody who had resistance. And then there was the rest of the slavers who were just, all sorts of maniacs and awful looking people.
Did they look like they were military?
I wouldn't say so, no. They actually looked pretty ragtag, like the outfits that they were wearing were pretty basic. All right, so let's say an intelligence test. So who's talking to him right now?
Richard.
So have Richard do an intelligence test. He's metal 7. 3's 10. Okay, that seems familiar. But he's like, I feel like that description matches somebody else. And so I'll give you one more chance. Have, maybe because Charles is nearby, have him do an intelligence test. He's a little smarter. His memory's a little better. Just a little, though. Nope, no better. It sounds familiar though, like you've met this person or these three people before. The rest of them just sound like your run-of-the-mill slavers. That could be anybody. But the description of these three that she gave, just something in your head that's
What
like...
about the kid? Kid's always close to Richard.
Yeah, I know, but I just don't want like everybody to make a roll, because when you have...
Well, it's not everyone. It's
When you
just
have
a
like 8 chances for a roll, then somebody's going to crit.
Just one more.
So, just one more? Okay, I'll make it more difficult then.
Okay.
All right, we're going to go from difficulty 12, we're going to go up to 14.
Okay.
So what's his medal? 6?
6.
You have to roll 8 or higher. No, you rolled a 3.
Shiny object. Non-combat.
Yeah, so this will be your once per day use.
Once per day.
It says once per game, so I'll let you use it once before the next mission kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Roll 8 or higher. 6. No.
Dang.
Sounds familiar though. I'm just not quite sure where you've seen that where this is like the...
What are you talking about?
You know when you're trying to
see
picture
it in my
somebody's
mind.
face and you're just like, don't remember. It's the tip of my tongue. And you can't
I
quite
think
remember.
I've seen this guy before, but I'm not quite sure.
Okay, so as you're talking to her, you start to hear noises coming from the other side of the cave, from where you came in and in that general vicinity. You're not sure what the noises are because you're pretty far away.
Okay. Richard.
You want him to go sneak over there and check it out? All right, that's fine.
No.
Okay.
Wait.
That's up to you. You don't have to. I'm saying that
Yes.
there are noises from over there. You can investigate, or you can take off, or you can scavenge for material. But
Yeah, I should probably scavenge a bit.
do you want to scavenge before you check it
No,
out?
I'll check out the noise first.
Okay, so have Richard do a ranger check.
A ranger check?
It's just anything is just a metal check. But it's because he's a ranger that he gets a bonus to it. He'll get a +2 to this. So 2, so 7 becomes 9 becomes 11. So he passes because it really wasn't a hard.
Actually, he's banged up. It's -1.
Oh, that's right.
We should have done that with the thing.
Yeah, so
But
he's-
Charles rolled anyway.
Yeah, so he's down to 10. So he's still a pass. 10 was a pass. It was a pretty easy thing. So he sneaks up, and off in the distance, he can see slavers coming back, and they don't look too pleased, and there's a lot of them, as if the
You
distraction.
can see them before they see him.
Oh yeah, he's snuck. He's sneaking right now, and you passed it. You're difficulty
Barely.
10. They're not looking for you right now, but they are noticing dead bodies lying around, and so they start to raise the alarm, and there's a lot of them. So basically, the distraction that was being made is probably over, or they're retreating, or something. You're not quite sure.
Are we able to exit through the tunnel?
You sure could try. There's definitely a tunnel.
Then we should.
You have no
exit.
idea where it goes.
We're gonna exit through the tunnel. We don't have time to scavenge.
You probably have 5-10 minutes before they discover where you are.
And that's not enough time to scavenge.
You can scavenge around the immediate area only if you want to try.
Yes.
I won't penalize you for that.
Okay, we'll do that.
Okay, so since you're only looking at the immediate area, I will have you do just D3 high-level items instead of 2D3. So roll D3. So 1 high-level item. I don't know. It's flamethrower. So you can just write it down in your inventory if you don't care about having somebody have it, or you can give it to somebody, like the kid. He can carry a flamethrower. But I'll let you decide that before your next game.
Yeah.
Now, I had put in my notes that if you don't find a relic, that we're going to roll for one anyways, because you've noticed that because there was the 2 robots, there was the big guy, and there are some crates there of some pretty valuable materials, and they seem pretty well equipped. So I'm going to have you actually roll for one relic ranged weapon, actually, specifically. So I haven't predetermined what it'll be. I've predetermined that it'll be a relic ranged weapon. And so we're not going to roll for scarcity. We're just going to roll on this table. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So roll a d8.
Ignore 9 and 10.
Basically, yeah. 9. Reroll it. 1. Okay. That's a needler. So you can write this down. A needler is it's a one-handed weapon. It's not a pistol, so you can't use it in close combat. It doesn't count as a close combat weapon. 18-inch range. It's only strength 6, reliability 2, but it has the poison special rule. And I think, is it special poison? Let me just read. Yeah, so it's a harder, normally when you get hit by a poison, at the end of the turn you have to do a survival difficulty 10 test. But the needler is really toxic, and so it's survival difficulty 12 test for the person. Otherwise they take the extra hit at the end of the round. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's worth 18 barter script.
Okay.
But not that you have to write that down, because if you ever decide to sell it, you can. Okay, so that's what you find. Now, as you're looking around, you notice motion from the back of the one vehicle. And you realize that's where they stuffed the doctor.
You go inside. Go open the door.
Open the door, and he's there. He's just like, and he's hurt. What was it? I think it was an assault rifle shot that took him down from the joke bot. So
Richard goes up to him.
yeah, you don't have much. You don't have much time.
Tears his shirt. Ties it around his mouth, so he doesn't make noise.
Okay.
And then he takes him. Let's go.
Okay.
Through the tunnel.
Now he's bleeding pretty bad. Do you want to try to stabilize him before you move, or do you want to take the chance of just moving with him? I'm not going to automatically kill him if you move with him, but there's a chance he'll die. Like,
I think
like
my
just
chances of him surviving.
A cursory glance from Betty realizes he's bleeding out, and she could try to stabilize him. Difficulty 10 test. It's stabilize. It's not like a total recovery, but that'll take some time.
But if she rolls a 1, he's dead.
Of course.
Right. Or he could survive longer, maybe, until we get to a spot where we have more time.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, but I'm telling you right now that if you move without stabilizing him, I'm going to have him do a survival test.
Hold your horses there, cowboy. Let me stabilize them first.
But you also have a lot of people coming in too, so this will affect how close they are to you if you stop to. So you have to make a choice. Do you take chances with the guys getting closer to you as you try to escape, or do you try to make your distance and take your chance with the doctor dying? Because the doctor will have to take a survival test at a penalty to stay alive while you try to transport him. It's up to you.
Stabilize.
Stabilize him. All right. So it's just difficulty 10, and you're clever, so you need a 3 or higher. You fumble it. What is wrong with Betty? All right, he's dead. So you're not going to get information from him.
All right, now we run.
Are you going to just drop the body, or do you want to slow down slightly by carrying the body? He's totally dead.
Is there anything on it?
On his body?
Yeah. On his person?
That's a good question. I didn't actually think about that.
Some papers? Some evidence? Anything?
He was carrying a bag, so you can grab the bag.
Grab the bag.
And just run?
Yes.
Okay, so you're just going to take off down the tunnel?
Yes.
All right.
Dang it.
Can't believe you killed him.
Betty, I'm like, okay, we should probably actually take the chance and run with him.
Well,
my instinct. I should have done it.
You still would have to stabilize him later.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been a harder
Oh,
stabilize
yeah,
check.
it doesn't matter. It would have rolled the same roll.
Fumbled it. How did you fumble it?
How did I fumble?
You needed 3 or higher.
I fumbled.
You just needed a 3 or higher
Yeah,
and a D10.
you're right.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
you made the roll way too hard, Matt.
Yep, the 3 or higher and you fumble it. It doesn't matter. I could have made it like automatic pass unless you fumble. He's dead.
Yep.
Okay, so you head down the tunnel. It's pretty dark. Actually, it's pitch black.
It's pitch black,
Yeah.
so Richard BR is out front.
Well, he can't actually see in the dark.
Well, he doesn't actually see. He sees reflections, and they're actually like
Like a bat
magnified.
sonar? Like he's really like a mutant with a bat sonar? Does anybody have anything that would provide you light?
And he says to the kid, "You're not afraid of the dark, are you?"
You know what? Okay, the closest thing I could think... Actually, I'll have you decide. Do you have anything you think that could provide light? You don't have any torches. You don't have any flashlights. Because you didn't buy any. Because, why would you buy flashlights, right?
Shiny objects provide light, but they need light,
But
right? Is that what you're thinking?
They're
They need reflective.
objects. It's like a fork. It's more like, ooh, shiny. Not like, ooh, luminescent. Otherwise, you're going to be fumbling around in the dark.
Okay. What does a plasma pistol look like?
It looks like a pistol.
No. Is it glowing? Is it anything?
No. When it fires, it sets off a glow, obviously.
Okay, when it fires, but not
Yeah,
like
but
just like it's not like
It would be like a momentary
emitting
flash.
light just
No.
by.
All right, you know what? Before you start running, Charles, make a quick intelligence.
Charles!
Make an intelligence test. 3. So that brings him up to 11. Okay, you pass. It's ridiculously easy tests, and you're just like barely getting them. The car is working. The one that had the doctor in it, it's working.
Okay, we're gonna jump in the car.
Yeah, there's too many of you for the car.
Well, so we're gonna pile on top.
How many of you are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, that's inventory. 8, 9, but one's a dog.
Perhaps we should take the car.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you could totally pile everybody in there uncomfortably. Nobody's too big, and you don't have Roy with you anymore.
Beverly wants to go up top.
Okay, we're good. Beverly's just gonna like hold on to the top. Yeah.
All right, I'm ready, guys.
All right, Charles thinks he knows how to drive it, so he's gonna try to start
Don't say
it.
that. Come
Simple,
on.
a simple intelligence test, man.
It's never simple.
Difficulty 10. You just need to roll 2 or higher. No, you freaking fumbled it!
Stop making it difficult for me, Matt. You gotta make it so there's some sort of successes here.
I'm not
Beverly
making it-
hands him a shiny object. There you go. Try it again, you idiot.
It's like maybe my fork will work. You know what? Fine. It'll use up Beverly's shiny object.
That's fine.
All right, re-roll. I'll let you do it. Crit!
Oh.
Yay! So he's like, "Arr, arr, 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 arr." And Beverly hands him his bent fork, and he's like, oh, this gives me an idea. And he jams the fork into the starter thing and just reefs on it. And somehow that works. It shouldn't. And he knows it, but he just gets his inspiration, and all of a sudden, and it starts, he turns on the light, and you can see down the tunnel. And
Is there anything nearby that would provide light? Huh.
a car's headlights, perhaps.
Maybe. Let's turn these on and just walk.
Yeah, that won't go very far.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so you just take off and you
All
drive.
right, yes,
and
we're
just
taking out.
escaping.
Don't make him make any more rolls.
It's like, how many fumbles can you possibly pull
Well,
off?
I'm getting them out now before combat.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I've seen you run out of your
Give me
fumbles
another
yet.
die. Let me use one of your loaded dice here.
You want to change dice? You want to officially change dice?
Why do you have to say it like that? Now it makes it look like it's a bad thing.
I'm asking.
I am actually kind of want to.
All right, but
You know what? I will.
Okay, you're gonna take the blue die now
take
because the
the
red die's
blue
mine.
die.
Because I've rolled plenty of fumbles.
Whatever you want.
Yeah. Okay.
You've rolled plenty of fumbles, is that what you said?
Yeah, I've rolled plenty of fumbles on it, so I'll keep it.
Yeah, and your practice rolls?
Yeah.
Because I seem to
Yeah,
recall you rolling
Charles
a lot
can
of
try to
crits.
repair a vehicle, intelligence difficulty 10, or they can walk. And you almost walk.
Almost!
All right, so you basically, it would have been a full day's journey in the dark. In other words, like 2 days' journey, because you'd have to like fumble your way through.
Instead it's 20 minutes?
And instead it's like an hour.
Okay.
So basically, like maybe the kid could have lit a Molotov cocktail and used that as a flashlight, but it wouldn't have lasted incredibly long, so you'd have to kind of do it in bursts.
Yeah, and he would have to be really careful for it not to go all the way down.
And who knows what creatures are in there that you're just driving by. You get a sense that you drive by a couple spots where you're just like, did I see? No, I don't know. Yeah. He's not going super fast because he only sees so far. And but it does seem to be, it does look like, as far as you can tell, it's a natural tunnel, but it's also been further expanded.
You mean not man-made?
Right. It's natural, but it's been expanded and like leveled out, and
It's a combination of the both.
yeah. But it doesn't look like it's been done recently. Like it looks like it's actually pre-war, as if there was already some smuggling thing going on wherever this cave was before.
So is there the car that we took, is it the one that the doctor was stuffed into?
Yeah.
Is there a flux capacitor in it?
Is there what?
A flux capacitor in it?
No, there's no flux capacitor.
isn't?
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to get up to
Do the
speed.
doors open like this from the sides?
No, they open up sideways, and you wouldn't be able to get up to speed anyways, because it's not like it's pretty bumpy, so you couldn't get up to 88 miles an hour.
Is there a train in this tunnel?
Yeah. Is there a train in this tunnel? No, there's no train to push your car.
All right.
Sorry, you're not going to get to go
Back in time
Back in
to
time,
revive Galen?
or Back to the Future or something like that. No, sorry. So you go for a while, and after an hour, it opens up, and you run out of gas. And so, but you do get to the end of the
Check
tunnel.
the trunk.
Check the trunk for more gas.
Check the trunk for anything.
Okay. Roll D3. That's how many normal items you find.
Oh, okay. So it's just, all right.
One normal item. So in the trunk, there happens to be. You're gonna just exchange all your dice.
Mm-hmm. A heavy weapon.
A heavy weapon, so nothing of use.
Can I take it, even sell it for bar script?
I thought I had this on Do Not Disturb. I do. Sure, it's worth 3 if you sell it. So you can just add 3 to your scrap.
Okay, might as well do it.
Why not, right? Okay, so the cave system opens up into
The what?
The cave system, the tunnel that you were driving. As when you're near the end, your car runs out of gas just right before you get to the end.
It's a good time to run out of gas.
Yeah, and so as
convenient.
yeah, I know, right? It's almost like it was planned.
There's no parts that Charles can take from it to add to the joke bot
Oh, do an intelligence test.
to see if there are any parts.
So he opens up the hood before they get out of the caves, and he's like, maybe there's something here that'll be useful.
It's a better die already. Look at that.
Yeah, he rolled really high, and he does see one part that he thinks he could use to disable the joke capacitor inside of the joke bot.
Okay.
Okay. But right now is not the time for him to make any repairs. You're in the
But
middle
at
of
least he
dark
has the
cave.
option to do it in the
Yes.
future.
So you just stick that in your pocket. You pull it out of the car, disabling the car, and
Parts
just, some sort of
to disable joke
capacitor. That's what it's called. It's a joke capacitor inside of the joke bot.
part.
And but right now is not the time or the place. It's too dark. You barely could see what you're looking at, but you rolled really high, so You did well anyways. And so, as you exit this tunnel, cautiously of course, you come out into a forest. Now there's clearings, and you can see that the path continues in front of you, and it goes around a bend. Now the forest, it's a post-war forest, but it's still, it's rejuvenated a lot. So it's actually, there's a little bit of greenery here. It's kind of a nice change of pace from all the desert and sand and brown and other shades of brown and yellows that you've been looking at so far. And the path just kind of goes off to the left that the car would have continued to follow.
Search
And
the
there's
forest.
you want to search the forest? Is that what you just said?
Okay, I guess I won't search the forest. I never know.
Oh, it's just a big forest.
Yeah, well, that's what
That
you
could
say.
take that could take like a month to just search the forest.
You said it's just a path around the bend. I have no idea. It sounds like an opening, an airing, a clearing.
It's hard to see because it's going around a bend. Would you like to?
No, because you laughed at me, so obviously it's a stupid idea.
No.
And I have no idea what's anywhere, so...
Okay, be more specific. Search the forest is like, okay, so you want to spend the next couple of weeks searching the forest? Or would you like to go somewhere specific? Sorry, I didn't mean, I laughed because it was just so vague and so general. So be more specific.
No, I won't search the forest because there's nothing to find, because you have tells, and so I will not search the forest.
Well, you can't search a forest. Like, that would take forever. So,
No, it's like I'm in the desert, right? I'm rolling for perception to see if there's anything that I notice.
oh, that's what you mean.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna climb every tree.
I thought you were gonna like.
I'm gonna look at that
literally-
bird's nest.
You
I'm gonna
know-
find some keys in the eggs. Yeah.
I thought you meant literally like, okay, we're gonna just go around this whole forest.
Oh. All right, guys.
Let's see how big this forest is.
Let's scale it.
Let's just go.
Let's make some hammock in the trees.
All right, so you do notice a pretty tall tree nearby. Mm-hmm. So he can climb that. Let's do a perception check on Richard.
Okay.
4, okay, not bad. So you're up to 11. That's enough. So as he's up at this tall tree, he does see that this forest is rather large.
I'm at 10 because I'm banged up.
Yeah, 10 is still enough.
Okay.
9 wouldn't have been enough to see what you're about to see. And off in the distance, you can see it clears out, and there is the remnants of some sort of town over there, and you can see that there is activity over there currently going on. You can hear the sounds of vehicles and people. So everywhere else you look is just forest that goes on for a very long time. Some better looking than others, some's green, some's still burnt out from the bombs. But it looks like it used to be some sort of park.
With his climbing gear, he's going to quick advance down the tree.
Okay.
Spin his body as he's doing it.
All right, agility test. I'm just joking.
I was gonna say what? Come on, just let him do it.
He did it. He's good.
So he's down.
Anything but a fumble.
And he takes the rope.
Comes in and calls.
There's a town that way. Let's go. And he just starts to walk away.
Yeah, it's your best lead, right? Where
There's
else?
the only lead.
Yeah, it's the only where that the path goes.
Yeah.
Like maybe there's some secret other area, but as far as you can see, that's the closest area.
And then Charles goes up to Jokebot. I will deal with you later.
And then it tells a joke. Just to spite him. So you don't want to try to fix the joke bot right now before you move on?
Yes. Let's
Hold on. Read the joke first.
What did you call a belt made out of watches? A waste of time.
Ah, ha, ha.
All right. Well, I won't deal with you later. I'll deal with you right now.
What does Richard say to that?
Do it.
Is Richard just going to stick around, or is
Yeah.
he? Okay. All right. So
So.
you got to pass 3 intelligence tests before you fail 2.
Mm-hmm.
If you do that, you deactivate having to tell jokes. If you fail it, you supercharge the joke capacitor, and you have to tell 2 jokes every time he activates.
So there's no difference in him finding these parts then. So he's not going to do it then.
The parts allow him to try. The difficulty's lower because it was going to be a difficulty 12 before.
Now it's a.
Difficulty 11. So with his intelligence, he needs to roll 3 or higher.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to try it?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. First roll, 7. Second roll, 9. Only 1 more. Just don't fumble. 7.
Whoa!
Dear. And now with a new part, he can only speak in beeps. Beep, boop, boop, pew.
Not going to lie, I'm sweating a little bit. I could have been the brunt of many a joke in the future.
Looks a little sad.
And rightfully so, you should be sad. Your life is a joke.
It makes a series of rude beeps.
Okay. All done.
Congratulations. Didn't even take that much time.
We're
Took
ready.
about 5 minutes. You're just like,
I would have thought it just needed a battery wire.
yeah, exactly. It was just a wire for the battery. So just had to bypass the homodulizer.
All right.
All right.
Do I have some cheese with that milk? All right. Okay. So
So now you're going to continue down the
we
path.
continue. Everybody continues.
Okay. So how are you doing this? Are you just walking down the path? Are you going through the forest? Is Richard scouting ahead? Like, what are you doing? How are you advancing and approaching this place?
Richard will go ahead
Okay.
with Kenny beside him.
All right.
The
Because
kid will follow.
he knows that. Oh, with Kenny the dog, the kid will follow.
The kid will follow, not unbeknownst to Richard, but kind of reluctantly. He doesn't really want him to, but he doesn't really have a choice because the kid will do it anyway.
He's gotten used to it.
Madeline will be up close as well because she just kind of likes to go up close, up front, see
With her sniper rifle.
with her sniper rifle. Ironically, she should probably be in the back, doing that. But no, she kind of goes against the grain. She does that. Beverly's in the very back because he's noisy with his power armor. I'm
right.
assuming.
Yeah, he is. Oh, that would have been awkward in the car.
Well, he was on top of the car. That's why I said.
Oh, that's why you went on top of the
Yeah.
car. So you had a guy in power armor just like
Yeah.
crunching into the sides.
That's right.
That makes more sense now. I thought
Then-
he was just like doing something like adrenaline junkie like, but that makes more sense. He has the power armor.
So everyone else is kind of just following a bit behind. A bit.
Are you on the path? Are you in the forest? What are you doing? How are you approaching this place? Are you approaching it stealthily, or are you just kind of walking up to it?
I'll go stealthily.
Okay. In the forest or on the path? Just getting
In the
details.
forest.
I'm just getting details.
In the forest.
So I can kind of picture how you're approaching this
I'll
place.
go. Everyone will go in the forest.
Okay. And then these guys
They'll
will stay
follow
in.
the path, but beside the path, in the forest.
Okay. So as you get closer, Richard out front can see, and Madeline through her sniper scope occasionally, she's like,
Okay.
that there is a perimeter around it, and there are some pretty nasty looking people that are guarding it, but she also sees, like, there's clearly like people that look like the slavers from back in the cave. But she also notices, and Richard also notices, that there's mutants in there too. Not big hulking mutants necessarily like the one that you met, but just mutants in general, like ones with 2 heads or ones with weird growths. But there's a good number of them in that area as well. And there's currently a huge truck that's driving out of the town. But you can see, basically that's all you can see from here. But there are guards, and you can see them walking along with, one has like a big light machine gun, and he's walking patrol in all this area as well. So there's some pretty heavy resistance.
At the entrance that we are currently looking at.
Yeah.
All right. So everyone scouts around then.
Okay. So do you want everybody to scout around, or do you want like specific people to try to get in? The whole group trying to sneak around is going to be a lot more obvious. So if you have like specific people trying to go in, then you might be able to gather more information before you do whatever it is you're going to do.
Kid, tell the rest of the group I'm going to scout around.
What's Madeline going to do?
She stays there with the kid.
Okay.
And the kid says,
Richard's gonna scout around. We'll just wait here.
and then Willis doesn't really like that. It's like, what? What would you say?
And Richard's already gone.
Oh, come on.
And then the kid slips away too. It's like, well, wait here. And then he's gone. Okay, so let's do a stealth check for Richard.
The kid stays.
The kid will stay?
He will stay.
Okay, so he's not going to ranger ahead?
No.
All right, go ahead. Stealth check for Richard. 3. So he's banged up. So that brings him up to a 9 then, because he's banged up. Oh, yeah, because you only travel for an hour. I'm going to say if you had traveled for a day, we'd get rid of your banged up, but only travel for an hour. So only a 9. So he has some difficulties getting in. And as he's sneaking his way in, he thinks he spots something across, but then there's a mutant that turns a corner and sees him and looks alarmed all of a sudden. So we're going to do a roll off here to see if you can silence him before he raises the alarm. Okay?
Okay.
We're going to do your melee versus his melee. Okay, now you've got
I'm nearly 6 right now. 'cause I'm
6, but then 7. Yeah, you probably wouldn't want to use your chain blade.
because it's noisy.
It's pretty noisy. And so you just have your 2 small blades. You just have 2 regular small blades then at this point. Or you just cannot turn it on and just use it as a more bludgeoning weapon. So you won't.
What's a shrieker? Is that quiet? Actually, is that like a ninja star? What is that?
Shrieker is a special type of grenade that is a relic. It knocks people out. It's a small blast.
It's noisy though, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Shrieker was a type of sonic grenade created as a non-lethal means of subduing dissidents and rioters en masse. The Shrieker emits a short, high-pitched shriek designed to overwhelm the nervous system and render the target unconscious.
Let's not use that then.
Yeah, that would draw attention. So we'll just do a simple melee versus melee roll-off. His melee's not that great, it's only 5, okay? And yours is 6. You're banged up, you're down to 5, but then you have 2 weapons, so you're back up to 6.
Okay.
Go ahead. Oh, you only roll 3. I roll a 9. So as you try to grapple him, he pushes and shoves off and runs off and shouts an alarm. And that will bring us to the battle report. Okay?
Gonna rest for a day before we went in.
Well, you can leave Richard to deal with it by himself, but he might get in trouble. And if he runs back, he's just going to draw them back with him. So we'll just go to the battle report, see what happens. So that'll be at the link in the description below. Go and check it out, and happy wargaming.